You know what honestly messed with my head? Reading the Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell earlier this year, but it messed me up in a very good way. I bit the bullet and joined Dan Martell's coaching program. And right now, while most business owners are already mentally checking out for the rest of the year, for the holidays, I have decided to work on something I call the 90-day sprint. I'm not gonna lie, when I first got into all Dan's teachings, I thought it was a bit too much, but I wanted to put this plan together and execute the Q4 of this year to see what real results I can get. I'm 4 weeks in and the results are already kind of insane. So I figured I'd share exactly what I'm doing. Maybe it'll help you too. So I'm not going to drag this any longer. Let's dive straight into the entire breakdown of that 90-day plan as if Dan Martell was coaching you himself. The first month is all about what Dan calls buy back your time. The first 2 weeks are just observations. You track everything, but here's the part I didn't expect. You also rate your energy level for each task from 1 to 10. QuickBooks work? For me, energy level 2. It literally made me want to take a nap. But doing financial strategy sessions with clients, energy level 9. I could do those all day long. Writing emails to chase down payments, energy level 1. Gave me a bit frustration, I'm not gonna lie. Creating cash flow forecasts, energy level 8. I actually enjoyed that work. The pattern was so obvious once I saw it written down. All the stuff that drained my energy was stuff that honestly someone else could do better than me anyway. I thought I was pretty efficient. I was wrong. Then he had us do this calculation. You take your revenue goal for next year and divide it by 2,000 hours. That gives you what your hourly rate needs to be. For me, that number was $700 an hour. $700. And there I was spending 12 hours doing work I could pay someone $45 an hour to do. When I saw that math, I felt a little sick, like actually sick, because I realized I was basically setting my on fire every single week just because I was too controlling to let someone else handle QuickBooks. So in week 3, you create something called a replacement ladder. You list every task you do from lowest value to highest value. Here's what mine looked like. The email management was a $20 an hour task, scheduling meetings also $20 an hour, creating invoices maybe $20 an hour, basic QuickBooks data entry $45 an hour, client meetings $200 an hour, strategic planning $500 an hour, landing new big clients probably $1,000 an hour value. You get the idea. When I looked at where I spent most of my time, it was honestly embarrassing. I was living in the $20 to $50 an hour zone. No wonder I was always tired, but never felt like I was getting ahead. So week 4, I wanted to try what Dan calls the drip matrix. Basically, you take all your tasks and sort them into 4 categories. High frequency, low value stuff, that's like email and data entry, things you do all the time that don't really move the needle. High frequency, high value stuff, daily client check-ins, team meetings, important and happening often. Low frequency, low value, random admin tasks that pop up once in a while, and then low frequency, high value. This is the gold mine. Strategic planning, big clients pitches, business development doesn't happen often, but when it does, it changes everything. I was spending 70% of my time in that first category. High frequency, low value, just grinding away at stuff that mattered, but honestly could have been done by somebody else. Dan's advice was simple. Delegate or automate everything in that first box. Systematize the second box, eliminate the third box, and leave in the fourth box as much as possible. Easier said than done, right? But I started with just one thing. Email. I hired an assistant and I'm so happy I did. Honestly, she manages my inbox better than I ever did. The first week was rough. I kept checking to make sure that she wasn't missing anything. She wasn't. By week 2, I had 3 hours back every Monday morning. 3 hours. Then I got bold, gave her more and more tasks, recorded myself doing it once, sent her the video, and coached her along the way. That was 12 more hours back every week. 15 hours total. Almost 2 full workdays. So the second month is about fixing cash flow. And this is where Dan's coaching really surprised me. You know what's funny? Most business owners think growth means getting more clients, but Dan Martell flips that idea upside down. He says real growth starts when you stop leaking the ones you already have. He calls it retention stack, a system to make your clients stay longer, buy more, and tell others about you without being asked. Think about it like this. You don't need 100 new clients a month if the ones you already have keep coming back and spending more. That's what creates a calm, profitable business instead of one that feels like a hamster wheel. It all starts with the first 48 hours. Dan says that's the the moment that decides whether a client will stay or drift away. So your job is to deliver a quick win right away. If you are a marketing agency, maybe that's sending your client a first batch of leads in the first week. If you run bookkeeping services, maybe it's cleaning up one messy account so they instantly feel the relief of working with you. The point is, make them feel the value fast. Once they feel that, finally somebody gets me moment, you've already built trust. After that, it's about rhythm and communication. Dan talks about creating predictable touch points, maybe weekly updates, quick check-ins, simple dashboards, so clients always know you're on top of things. Never let them wonder what's going on, because silence kills relationships. He also says to track engagement like a hawk. Don't wait for the clients to ghost you. Notice when they stop logging in, stop replying, or stop showing excitement. Maybe you send a short video or offer a quick bonus session to help them get unstuck. And the final layer is about habits. You want to make your product or service part of their daily life, like Slack in a company. People don't even think about canceling because it's part of how they work. When you build those rituals, regular reports, meetings, results they depend on, your business becomes a habit, not a transaction. Weeks 7 and 8 are about the meeting rhythm. I thought I'd hate this, but it actually made everything easy. So here's what Dan Martello teaches about keeping your business on track. It's all about rhythm, not random meetings, but a system that actually runs the company for you. Every week, you sit down with your team to look at what's working, what's stuck, and what needs your focus. It's short, clear, and consistent, not just another talk for hours kind of meeting. You celebrate wins, check your key numbers, and make sure everyone's working toward the same goals. Then, once a month, you zoom out a bit, you look at what you've achieved, what slipped through the cracks, and what needs to change before it becomes a big issue. And every quarter, you go even deeper. That's when you plan the next 90 days. Dan calls these your rocks. They're the big priorities that move the business forward. It sounds simple, but when you stick to this rhythm, your company stops running on chaos and starts running on systems. That's how you build something that grows without you having to constantly put out fires. Now, once you start tracking those numbers, you're going to hit issues, guaranteed. And this is where most business owners spiral. They spot a problem and either panic or ignore it. But Dan has a system for that too. It's called the issue resolution process. 3 simple steps: identify, discuss, solve. First, identify. You have to name the real problem, not the surface one. If your profit dropped, don't say we need more sales. That's just lazy thinking. Ask why. Maybe your estimates are off. Maybe projects are overrunning. Maybe clients are paying late. Get specific. Second, discuss. Bring it to the table. Don't let your team rant or blame. That's not discussion. That's just therapy. Have a real talk about root causes. Then uses what he calls the 1-3-1 rule. When someone brings a problem, they also bring 3 possible solutions and 1 recommendation. That way, the meeting stays very productive instead of turning into a complaint fest. And finally, solve. Decide on 1 clear action, assign who owns it, and set a date to check results. Next week review, did it work? If yes, great. Lock it in as a new process. If not, adjust and try again. Third month is about building your machine for 2026. All right, so at this point, you've got your systems dialed in, your numbers are tracking, things are finally moving. But here's the part where most founders hit a wall. You're still doing too much yourself. Dan Martello calls this the founder bottleneck. And his solution, a system for hiring and delegation that frees you up to actually lead instead of constantly doing. He says to start small, just hire 1 person for the tasks that drain you. For most people, that's admin work. Also scheduling, email, data entry, reports, all the stuff that eats hours but doesn't actually grow the business. That's why he says your first hire should be an assistant. And when it comes to hiring, he's got this rule, the 1% better rule. Don't look for someone who's a clone of you. Find someone who's slightly better than you at one specific thing. If you're decent at managing your calendar, hire someone who's great at it. If you can write okay copy, hire someone who lives and breathes words. You stack those 1% betters, and before you know it, your team is smarter, faster, and sharper than you ever were alone. Then, when it's time to train them, here's Dan's move, the documentation process. Instead of creating some long manual, just record yourself doing the task once. Loom video, screen share, voiceover, whatever is easy. Next time you hire someone for that role, you just send them the video. And training done. You've built an asset, not just completed a task. And the final piece of this hiring system is the feedback loop. Dan says new hires don't fail because they're bad, they fail because there's no feedback. So he does weekly check-ins, quick 15-minute meetings where you ask, what's working? What's confusing? What can I unblock for you? That's it. You keep communication open. Problems stay small and your people grow fast. Now, once your team starts running like that, you'll finally have time to think long-term. The goal here isn't isn't just to build a business, it's to build a machine that builds the business for you, because that's freedom. That's what Dan Martell means when he says, buy back your time. The daily execution is actually the hardest part. There are 5 daily non-negotiables that Dan is keeping us accountable to. It's not sexy, it's just consistency. I will share one of them with you that made a huge difference. Every morning, before I check my emails, before I check Slack, before anything, I do 2 hours of deep work on my highest value task. Some days that's strategic planning, some days it's working on a big client proposal, some days it's improving our systems, and some days it's just reviewing content, because marketing is one of my lead generation tasks, right? But it's always something from that $500 to $1,000 an hour category. Never email, never admin work, never small stuff. Just that one change has been huge. By 7 a.m., I've already moved the business forward. The rest of the day is just a bonus. So I'm 4 weeks into this 90-day sprint. Here's what actually changed. I got back 18 hours per week by delegating. That's more than 2 full work days. Monthly recurring revenue went up by 10,000. And the best part is it feels like I'm working at a different energy level. More productive, needle moving way forward. No longer do I work weekends, and I can fully shut it off from work without sacrificing revenue coming in. That alone is probably the biggest ROI I could get from this 90-day plan. But let me be real with you. This wasn't easy. Letting go of control, it was terrifying. The first time my VA made a mistake, I lost some money, not gonna lie, but hey, we're all humans. Dan reminded me, you always need to ask yourself, is it a people problem or a process problem? We fixed the process and should be good moving forward. It's all part of the process, and no matter how nerve-wracking it is, I just have to trust that this will all work out. I mean, I have proof this works. I've said no to clients in the past, even when cash was tight, but every time I said no, a better client showed up within weeks. Based on everything Dan's taught us, here are the 5 rules I'm following for 2026. 1, I won't do any work that's worth less than $200 an hour. If it's below that, I delegate, not because it's beneath me, but my time is needed somewhere else. 2, I won't take on any project without knowing the profit margin up front. No more figuring it out as I go. 3, I won't say yes to clients who drain my energy, no matter how much they're willing to pay. 4, I won't skip my Wednesday numbers review, even when I'm busy, especially when I'm busy. 5, I won't hire based on price. Cheap help costs expensive mistakes. Look, I'm not saying you must join Dan's coaching program, even though that has been a complete game changer for me. His book has 80% of what you need, and all the things we have discussed today and more are in his book. And I mean, $15.99 for incredible knowledge and step-by-step strategies, guys, it doesn't get better than this. Oh, and do yourself a favor and follow him on YouTube. He always tells all of us in his program to share all of our best stuff with the world to help people, and he sure does it on his channel as well. You do need to do something different, because if you're watching this video, you're probably where I was about 6 months ago. Working too hard, making decent money, but not keeping enough of it, and knowing there has to be a better way. And there is a better way, but it starts with admitting that what you're doing now might not be working. These next 90 days, while everyone else is coasting or waiting until the new year's to make a change, could be when you completely transform your business. It's up to you. But I'll tell you this, 4 weeks into this process, I already feel like a different person. Not because I'm working harder, because I'm finally working smarter. And that 10-year vision that seemed crazy is starting to feel possible. If you want to see how this turns out, I'll do an update in January. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try any of this. And honestly, even if you just do the time tracking exercise, just that one thing, it'll change how you see your business. Because once you realize you're doing $10 an hour work while trying to build $1 million business, you can't unsee it. And that's when everything changes. Until next time.